What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and we have the brand new chapter of the Attack on Titan manga out right now. That's right, chapter 96 is out, and in this chapter we finally get the full story of how it all began from the perspectives of Reiner, Bertolt, and Annie. We also get some other really interesting little details that could end up playing an extremely important role in the future, so let's get into it. If you enjoy these chapter reviews and want to see more in the future, be sure to smash that like button strong enough to break Wall Maria. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We begin right after Marcel is eaten by Ymir's Titan and the warriors from Marley lose the Jaw Titan power on Paradise Island. Reiner blames himself and struggles to get his bearings as his mind seems to have gone blank. However, Annie and Bertolt soon catch up to him and we realize that right after Marcel was eaten, the other warriors ran away. Annie blames Reiner and Bertolt for running away first because she says that she was swept up in it and then she ran away with them too, and here it seems that she clearly doesn't want to admit that she was also scared. Annie says that if they didn't run away, they may have been able to retrieve the Jaw Titan after it turned back into a human, but now they lost the Jaw Titan power and the mission will be seen as a complete failure by the Marleyan government. We also learned that Titans should not have been so far away from the wall, which leads us to believe that Ymir's mindless Titan was an abnormal Titan in some way. Bertolt and Annie consider abandoning the mission to capture the Founding Titan in order to try and retrieve the Jaw Titan power, but Reiner, not wanting to disappoint his mother, warns them that if they return without completing the mission, they may all be killed as punishment and their power may be given back to the other warriors instead. Reiner also says that the only way to catch up to the Jaw Titan if the new possessor decides to use it is with the Cart Titan or Cartman, and of course Peak's Titan is not there with them at the time, and this implies that Cartman may actually be the fastest Titan shifter. After Reiner's speech, Annie freaks out and beats the crap out of him, saying that she must return home alive, and this is when Reiner's personality seems to shift. He gets up and jumps on Annie, putting her in a chokehold. He says that now that they've lost their leader Marcel, he will step up and become the new Marcel, the new leader, and he will make sure that they all get back home alive. We then jump to Annie's female Titan running towards the wall and attracting the other mindless Titans to follow them because their plan is to break the wall, bring the mindless Titans inside, and blend in with the civilian population in the ensuing chaos. After blending in with the local population, their mission is to observe the Fritz family and find the Founding Titan. Reiner in his armored Titan form shields an exhausted Annie as Bertolt turns into the Colossus Titan and breaks through the gate of Wall Maria. We even get a glimpse of EREN, Armin, and Mikasa looking on in terror as the Colossus Titan breaks the gate. And I thought that this was a powerful image because we now see this iconic first scene in the manga and the anime from the other perspective, from the perspective of the attackers. As Bertolt breaks through the gate, we see once again a familiar smiling face. The smiling Titan returns once more. The smiling Titan closes in on Bertolt, who is now again in his human form, and everyone thinks that the smiling Titan is about to eat him. But instead of doing that, the smiling Titan walks right past him and through the now opened gate of the wall, demonstrating again that it is an abnormal Titan and that it seemed to be on some sort of mission of its own. Now this is really intriguing. I wonder if the smiling Titan, because she is of course Dina Jaeger, Grisha's first wife, was able to sense Grisha's blood. His son EREN was somewhere nearby and went straight to him instinctively. This raises a whole new question. Can Titans with royal blood actually sense other Eldians? Or maybe Eldians that they are close to? We know that Dina told Grisha that she would find him someday even if they turn her into a Titan, and we know that the coordinate connects all Eldians through invisible pathways, so I wonder if the smiling Titan was actually able to sense where Grisha's blood was, where his family, his son was. If this is the case, then can Zeke also sense where EREN is? If so, this could play a major role in the coming chapters, since we know that Zeke is planning to return to Paradise, and we also know that in chapter 83, he promised to one day save EREN, whatever that means. At this point, Reiner once again remembers his mother and how she believes that his father would be proud of him even though his father didn't want anything to do with him. He remembers that he was never supposed to be chosen as a warrior, but he commits himself again to becoming a true warrior in spite of everything. We then jump to the refugee camp inside of Wall Rose, where Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner were able to infiltrate, pretending to be part of the local population. We see a man telling them about being the only survivor of the Titan attack in a small mountain village, and in the very next scene, we see that man hanging from a tree as if he committed suicide. But we know, of course, that the warriors killed him and made it look like suicide so that they can take his backstory of being from the small mountain village where no one else survived and use it to infiltrate the society within the walls. Then we move to another scene, and 2 years have now passed. The warriors are talking about the Fritz royal family and how the current royal family is actually fake. The real royal family is in hiding and there is no way to infiltrate their ranks because they became extremely cautious after Wall Maria was breached and they stopped hiring outsiders. The warriors decide that the only way to get closer to the royal family is to join the military as soldiers and eventually gain posts in the capital as part of the military police brigade. From the discussion between Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner, we also learn another really interesting piece of information. The Tiber family was the one that told the Marleyan army that the king is tied down by the promise of pacifism and that he wouldn't use the Titan power, the founding Titan power, to attack Marley even if the walls were breached. This makes me wonder whether the Tiber family has spies inside the walls who are giving them this information, and whether those spies are still alive and active in the present time, working behind the backs of Levi, Eren, Armin, and the rest of our protagonists. Also in this scene, we clearly see that Bertolt totally has a thing for Annie. And the chapter ends on a very interesting note. We see that from the perspective of the warriors, they believe that they are trying to save humanity. They believe that by taking the founding Titan power, they will make sure that the Eldians on Paradis cannot use the Wall Titans to wipe out humanity on the continent, including the families of the Eldian warriors themselves. When they are asked by Shadis, the head instructor of the 104th Training Corps, what they all came here for, why they decided to become soldiers, Reiner responds, "I came here to save humanity." And he really means this, but in a totally different way than the Eldians on the island could have imagined at the time. Overall, I thought that this was a really interesting chapter. We see how it all began, but from the opposite perspective. We see how the warriors, despite all the horrible things they did to innocent Eldians on the islands, are doing what they are doing because they believe that they are saving humanity. They believe that the Eldians on the island are evil, they are afraid of the founding Titan power, and they want to protect their own families and humanity on the continent by fighting against the Eldians on the island. We also learned in this chapter that Ymir's Mindless Titan and the Smiling Titan were indeed abnormals, and the Smiling Titan may have been able to somehow sense where Grisha's blood was, his bloodline, his son, Eren, even though we think that Grisha at this point was somewhere out of town. By the way, guys, if you want to learn more about the Smiling Titan, all the backstory of Dina Jaeger and how she became the Smiling Titan, you can check out our video, Smiling Titan Explained. I will leave the link in the description. On top of that, we have videos in our Attack on Titan playlist explaining the female Titan and Annie, their whole backstory, explaining Ymir and her Jaw Titan, explaining Reiner and his backstory and everything about him, as well as the Colossus Titan and Bertolt. If it's been a while since you've read the previous chapters of the manga and you want to catch up on all the relevant details, feel free to check out those videos as well. Links will be in the description. Finally, we learned that the Tiber family may have spies inside the walls, perhaps very close to the royal family itself, which itself is a huge revelation that might come into play in the present time. So yeah, even though we didn't get to see our protagonists on the island in the present, this was a really captivating, really powerful chapter in my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you think about the Smiling Titan and the way it just went past Bertolt and seemed to be going after Eren. Let me know what you think about the Tiber family having spies, and in general what you think about this chapter and what do you think is going to happen in the next chapter. I'm really excited, of course. Do you think that in the next chapter we are finally going to see Mikasa, Eren, Armin, Levi, and the rest of our protagonists in the present timeline again? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.